Welcome back, Endgame community. It's Chris, and today I'm going to bring you 3 players that you can draft who have no risk but tons of upside. Let's get into it. Now imagine being able to draft the team's lead running back in a run-friendly offense with an improved offensive line outside the top 100 picks. Then imagine if I told you this running back ranked 19th in expected fantasy points per game last year, 13th in receptions, and 7th in yards per touch. You'd say I was crazy, right? Well, I'm not, because this player exists and his name is Chase Edmonds. And he did all this despite splitting with James Conner for most of the year. Now he's competing with 30-year-old Raheem Mostert, who can't really make it a single game before getting hurt, 27-year-old Sony Michel, who averaged only 4.1 yards per carry in the Rams offense last year, and 7th round draft pick Myles Gaskin, who by all metrics was absolutely terrible last year. Edmonds just barely turned 26 years old, which means he's still in those running back peak years, and best of all, he's well below that 800 career touch mark with only 461 career touches. So he still has a lot of tread on his tires and a lot of juice left. And he's a guy with a ton of burst, as he ranked 11th in breakaway run rate percentage last year among all running backs. And his new head coach, Mike McDaniels, will likely employ the same zone blocking scheme that Kyle Shanahan used in San Francisco, which fits perfectly to Edmonds' strengths. You know, it used to be you had to wait 3 years for a rookie wide receiver to break out. That's just not the case anymore. We're seeing more and more rookie wide receivers breaking out, even if sometimes it takes them half the year to do so. One of the rookies I think will do it this year, Sky Moore. Let's count up all the things going for Sky Moore. Number 1, he's attached to Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best thrower in the entire NFL, and maybe without argument the best deep ball thrower in the entire NFL. Number 2, he's joining an elite passing offense with an offensive-minded guru head coach in Andy Reid, who just traded away their alpha stud wide receiver 1. And number 3, his competition on the outside is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who can only run go route, Mecole Hardman, whose best strength is catching passes behind the line of scrimmage, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who really needs to play out of the slot. Basically, the door is wide open for Sky Moore to take over as the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver. But I get it. You're saying he played at Western Michigan. The competition there sucked. And sure, it wasn't an SEC powerhouse. But you know what? He dominated that competition, which is what you should do when you're much better than the competition. He ranked in the 91st percentile in college dominator and 99th percentile in college target share. Those 2 metrics are some of the strongest indicators of successful wide receivers at the next level. And according to the research done by Matt Harmon of Reception Perception, he ranked in the 97th percentile against man coverage and in the 91st percentile against press. If you can beat man and press coverage, you can succeed in the NFL. And despite what you've heard about him being a slot receiver, it's just not true. He played way more snaps as the X receiver than he did in the slot. And the Chiefs already have Juju and Travis Kelce. They are not going to play Sky Moore in the slot. And right now, his ADP, it's right about pick 100. You're getting Patrick Mahomes' potential X receiver at pick 100. That is absolutely risk-free. Moore has the highest ceiling of any rookie in this class, but he isn't being drafted like it. But now you know better, and you'll draft him accordingly, right? Am I the only one that heard the news that Russell Wilson got traded to Denver, who happened to have Aaron Rodgers as offensive coordinator of the last 3 years, 2 of which he won the MVP with, as their new head coach? Going from a coach who tried to set football back 50-plus years to an offensive-minded, modern-day head coach? Because it sure seems like I am, since his ADP really hasn't budged at all. This is a guy who, despite only attempting 400 passes last year and having a thumb that was barely hanging on for a big portion of the season, still threw over 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. The Broncos, despite rolling out Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, attempted over 500 passes last year. The Broncos, with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett, are going to attempt significantly more than 500 passes this year. Just 2 short years ago, the last time Russell Wilson threw over 500 pass attempts, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. He has 3 good wide receivers and a talented young running back. Plus, he has an elite defense, which means more snaps for the offense and more pass attempts for Russell Wilson. And where you're drafting him, there's almost no risk. He's barely being drafted as a top 10 quarterback, and we could see him ascend back into the realm of top 5 fantasy QB studs this year. Wilson gives you the ability to wait on quarterback and still get a true difference-making stud at the position. All right, guys, those are the 3 players that you should be drafting who have almost no risk and tons of upside. Let me know in the comments who are some other players you think have tons of upside with minimal risk. I want to hear about it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Check out our free Discord down in the description. And if you want to support us in other ways, check out our Patreon as well. All right, guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.